Good morning, afternoon, or good night, wherever you are in the world. It's another episode of On Another Note, and we are so excited to have you with us. We're one man down today, but that's okay. We'll keep the ball rolling, but we do miss Adri's beautiful, properly cheek highlighted, plump lips, gorgeous hair, and skin with us today. But we've got the doc in the house. Dr. Lewis, how has your week been?
The week has been great. I recently celebrated a birthday and it was fantastic. Had the first fitness party, I think, ever in the BVI because I am trying to show people that you can be fit at any age. So even though I'm now in my 40s, I actually feel more fit than I did when I was in my teens. And I really am
Nice.
trying to get people into that. It was awesome.
I like that, a fitness party. I did see that and thought to myself, child, you're gonna be winded before they start serving drinks. I don't
No,
know.
I was like a kid in a candy store. I was like all over the place, like, come on, you guys.
That is awesome. Bree,
Yeah.
how have things been for you? I know you are gearing up for the return of school, so I can imagine you're probably getting mentally and physically prepared.
Well, I don't even know how to prepare. We're still waiting as to what's gonna happen, but I'm excited. It's burger season,
Oh,
which means
Lord
that birthday
Jesus.
is around the corner. Stores are heading this way. Yeah, we know all of it comes at once, but I'm
Mhm.
really excited and I can't wait to get back to work.
I know, I know. I mean, to be very honest, I think we're all starting to fall into the new normal a little bit. So there's some parts of things that don't even seem like a burden anymore.
Right.
I'm still getting used to the whole need your mask in the store thing. And I think it's because once I'm not in a store, some people have their mask on for a good portion of the day, but
Mm.
I take mine off like literally immediately once I'm in an open space. So I come out of a
Yeah.
store, it's off my face. So I need to get used to it because I am turning back too much. So my own fit party is heading back to the car to get my mask every single time. It fails me not. I
A little bit of
literally do.
movement.
Oh my gosh, I need to start counting steps just how many times I have to go back. Oh, my bad, my bad. I'll be right back.
Exactly. It's like, oh, I'm only at 5,000. I'll be right back.
But I love it. I like the concept of the fitness party. Happy belated birthday
Thank
to
you.
ya. I know when we get together again, we'll definitely celebrate properly.
Mhm.
And I think it's awesome to see, the different ideas that people are coming up with now with these, uncertain times as to how to still celebrate life.
Mhm.
My son is about to have a birthday this weekend, and I know, for children it's a little bit different. For adults, we can, do things to make up that time,
Yeah.
but for children, that human interaction just means so much,
Yeah.
and it helps to develop who they are. So should be interesting with
Mm.
everyone in this house so far has had a quarantine birthday. We're all in the beginning of the year. So
Oh, wow.
so we've all had a quarantine birthday. It's been quarantine for almost everybody. So here we go
Oh.
again with another quarantine birthday. And I'm kind of getting used to it because it's not really that much different from how we used to do. But
Yeah.
I want to kind of talk about something. So we have beautiful shades of melanin hair this morning. And the White House in America is potentially getting ready to have another shade of melanin. But what I'm loving about this is that this new potential prospect, Kamala Harris, is not only a shade of melanin, child, she Caribbean. She is
Oh,
West
listen.
Indian. So
Listen.
we all of us about to go up and vote, okay? We're not even allowed to vote. We're like, oh no, we get to
You're
vote.
right.
She's one of us.
Listen, I was just saying, like, for the amount of people that, live in the States and they're kind of there not too legally, now you're going to see everybody trying to get this citizenship because us Caribbean people, we going to
Also,
come out. We going to
yeah.
come
We
out and we going to vote.
support, okay?
Yes.
We support. You think Obama was that?
They ain't see Caribbean people yet. And the thing is
Camila,
that it doesn't matter which Caribbean island you're from. Like you just support once you know it's one
That's
of
true.
your people that's in a in a good position. And I could tell you, like, I've traveled to Jamaica. I have a lot of Jamaican friends. I think Jamaican Trinidadians, when you meet them, they are so hype about, like, who they
yeah.
are as
Mhm.
like as
All the
people.
time.
Yeah, like you feel like you want to be like, I literally wanted to start looking for a Jamaican flag to start carrying it because Kamala's about in the White House. And I'm like, we West Indian.
Child, it's gonna be the first time when they have their presidential dinner that there'll be jerk chicken on the menu. I'm like, do it, girl, do it. You better,
Yes.
you better let these people
Put
taste something with seasoning.
some
I'm with
spice.
you.
Agreed.
I'm
He
with
said
you.
some
But
season.
Mm-hmm.
what I'm really liking is, so we talked a little bit about, the fact that she's West Indian. So she does have some Jamaican roots. I believe it's her dad who is from Jamaica. Her mom is a Asian or a Filipino, if I'm getting it right. And her mixed culture adds a different dynamic that I don't believe the US presidency has ever seen. So we all were up in arms and excited because Obama was a biracial who, ended up in the White House and did a fantabulous job.
Mm-hmm.
But what it did was then open up the floodgates so that people of color can not no longer dream, but have the realization that we belong in
Yeah.
all places of society. So
Yeah.
having Camila join as a running mate to the presidential campaign, I think with her background as a lawyer, she's been a politician for years. She served as a senator, so or junior senator, I believe it was. And I think this is exciting. But outside of that, it got me thinking we have a lot of Caribbean roots embedded into major aspects of who um, the US are. Like a lot of the major actors. So you're talking about people like Kerry Washington
Mm-hmm.
from what is that? She's done Scandal. Scandal is what most
Right,
people
right, right.
probably know her
Mm-hmm.
from.
Yes.
She's done The Django. She's done Save the Last Dance. She's done quite a number of movies. But Kerry Washington, mom, is Jamaican.
I did not
I
know
didn't know
that.
I
that.
told y'all, Caribbean. We just
I
West
didn't know
Indians are
that.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Um, then you've got, people like Roger Cross who did Continuum. He is Jamaican. He's a born
Mm-hmm.
Jamaican. Delroy Lingo is the guy who played Malcolm X in Spike Lee's movie.
Mhm.
He is Jamaican. I mean,
Oh.
there's a ton load of them. Lenny Kravitz is Bahamian, I think it is. Yeah, he's
Mm-hmm.
Bahamian
Yeah.
from on
Or
his
his
mother's
mom.
side.
Yeah.
There
And
there is so much.
isn't
Zoe Saldana is
Beyonce's?
from the Dominican Republic.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Woohoo.
Rihanna's like that's my people. We cousins. We first
Yeah.
Right?
cousins. Naomi Harris. She is Jamaican and Trinidadian. Like
Mm.
there are a
Don't
lot of
forget, don't forget our girl
actors.
Nicki Minaj, who's from
Trini,
Nicki
Trinidad.
Minaj, yes,
Yeah.
Rihanna,
Foxy Brown,
And
Rihanna,
Beyonce's
Barbados.
Barbados, right?
Yeah.
And Beyonce's mom, Beyonce's father, I think, is Bahamian as well, has some Bahamian descent. That last name Knowles
Oh,
is
I didn't
very
know that.
Bahamian.
I'm not sure about him yet, but yeah,
With
we
the
have.
last name Knowles is very Bahamian. So
Oh, wow.
I look
yeah.
into
Yeah,
that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Beyonce. Yeah, her father was actually born in Bahamas, it says.
There you
Oh,
go.
wow.
Wow.
I did not know that. I did
Oh,
not. She gonna need
you
to
know
get
how
in
I knew
touch with
this,
her
Angel?
Caribbean
Because when I
roots.
was in school, we had a lot of Bahamian students that were there, and you best believe that when Beyonce started blowing
It's
up,
a
they
big
let us know where she was from.
God, we like to claim our people. It's the one thing we
yes.
do. We claim our people. Okay, you
Of
don't even have to be
course.
from our country. Oh no, I'm from the Caribbean. Okay,
Yeah, we
yes,
West Indian. Mm-hmm.
we are all West Indian, and they related. Megan Good, she
Mm-hmm.
is half Puerto Rican, and I think her dad is from Barbados.
Oh,
So
there you go.
it's like
Mhm.
there are so many actors, the twins,
Yeah.
Tia Mowry and Tamara Mowry, their mom is Bahamian. There's
Yeah.
so many actors and actresses and
So
singers
I'll
and
tell you, I think one of the big differences that I've noticed, and you guys who've like kind of lived in the States can tell me if this is true or not. I find that there's a bit of a difference in the attitude of the West Indian person as opposed to like the African American, where I don't think we necessarily have this sort of this idea in the back of your head like you're being suppressed by the system and that kind of thing. I think we've always been a people who are very proactive, very forthcoming, very we push for what we want. Like we're never, I don't feel like we're felt like we're held back in anything, like we have to hold back for anything. Like there's always this talk about the days of slavery and we are arbitration and all this thing, like um but I think for us West Indians, we've come out of that like very easily because I think we've always outnumbered, the Caucasians in society. So I find that we tend to have a bit more of a push and a bit more of a like, we can do it, as opposed to thinking that because of race, we're going to be held back. Like that's my opinion, but you get what you guys think.
I mean, I have a slightly different thought. I think
Mm,
because we are our Caribbean roots are embedded in that historical slavery story.
mm,
Unfortunately, I think we don't think about or really appreciate that mentally we still live this somewhat slave mentality life. Whereas
mm,
Americans, they are forced to see and live with on a daily basis some of the historical aspects of it. And because it's still in the forefront, they make a bigger issue about the system oppressing them. They're constantly
mm,
reminded. So, whereas we suppress it in the back of our head, we don't really have that many monuments. Our history
mhm,
isn't even really, put forward as in our slave history. A lot of that isn't really in our faces all the time. So we put it in the back of our head. And I
mhm.
think as the world has become more Afrocentric, where we're
Mhm.
embracing a bit more of the
Yes.
colored human race, now we're seeing that even in the Caribbean, we're starting to have that uprising of, okay, we've been colonized for too long. We've been this for too long. We've been undergraded. But I agree that, the undertones aren't as heavy as it is in the US. And I think
Mhm.
a part of that is why we find a lot of the Caribbean roots embedded in Hollywood, because our people have always been West Indians we are achievers. We are
Yes,
overachievers. We want to
yes.
do well. We have to prove a point that we've come
Mhm,
from a small island, that we've come from a small region, but that we do
mhm.
big things. I think the Jamaicans, their motto is little but Talawa. And I think that speaks for the
Mhm.
entire West Indian chains. We may be a smaller region, but we are a force to be reckoned with. But I just wanted to kind
Definitely.
of highlight that today, the fact that, I'm proud to be a West Indian. It doesn't matter to me
Mhm.
what island, I have come from two, three different islands. My mom is from the island of St. Kitts and Nevis. My father's side of the family are from the British Virgin Islands. I grew up in the US Virgin Islands. There's just so
Yeah,
much
you just mixed
dynamics
up.
to it.
Just mixed
Yeah,
up.
there's so much dynamics to it. And I appreciate and love seeing Caribbean people, especially Caribbean people, West Indians. I love seeing us
Definitely.
do awesome, awesome, awesome things.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed.
Remember, I feel that things used to be different, but as soon as Black people start becoming famous or getting a lot of accomplishments, it brings somewhat this proud feeling inside of others. So it shows more. I recall, like, for example, when Obama won elections, it was this extra excitement and feeling that yes, I am West Indian or I am Black or I should be proud of this. And every time
Mhm,
someone does something like that and makes
mhm.
history, then it makes us prouder. And I think it has changed. And I agree with Angel. It's a bit different in the Caribbean compared to Americans, but it's getting better. So we can only hope that it continues to improve.
And why I say that, because Obama was one of the first major leaders that they had that was Black. But in the Caribbean, a lot of our leaders from decades ago, they've been Black. So I mean, I think we're more accustomed to seeing Black
Yes.
people in leadership
Yeah.
roles. And so it
Mhm.
wasn't that far-fetched to think, well, I can do this too, as opposed to the
Yeah.
States where it kind of, as you say,
Well,
the ball really got started with Obama, where they're now able to actually visualize like this is possible.
this is
Yes.
possible. This is
Yeah,
no longer some dream that Martin Luther King had. This
right.
has become a dream realized. And I'm excited. I'm
Yeah.
super excited for the journey that
Mhm.
Camila Harris is about to have. And outside of
Yeah.
her journey, I'm excited for the exposure that, Jamaica and all of the other West Indian islands are about to have by default, because,
Yes.
this brings unpaid advertisement to the region. And I absolutely love it, because I
Hmm.
think that sometimes, people don't recognize the true geniuses and the true talents and the true level of ingenuity and innovation and leadership that lies within our region. And
Very
it's
true.
always a good thing. Never forget your roots.
Never.
So I love that they brought this up about her. I think, they were doing it to be messy. Oh, she's not even really us. And Caribbean
Hmm.
people are like, say, what now? Somebody put
Uh-huh.
on the jerk chicken. Okay, we are.
Exactly. And I think, Angela, what you're saying is so true. And even in the medical profession, like I see it all the time. And this is why a big part of what I try to do, I think personally, is try to really push the message that we really do have a lot going on for us in the
Yes.
Caribbean. Now looking at times of, COVID and COVID-19, when you look at, not only infectious rates, but death rates around the world. I mean, we really have like lower death rates in the Caribbean. And I'm very interested to see, I keep saying I'm very interested to see the numbers when they really start to come out later down, when we really start to get that epidemiology reports and everything about how it has impacted the Caribbean as opposed to other places in the world, especially things like the US. I mean, they're really suffering and heavy hand under the gun right now for COVID. But I really want to see what the difference would be, and we really need to push that message. As you said, we're getting exposure now, which is true, but we really need to embrace what we have going on in the Caribbean.
Yes.
And
Yes.
even in
Yes.
my field, like that's something that really needs to be promoted. Like we really do have a lot going on. You're quite right.
I love it. I love it. So, anyways, I just wanted to brighten up everybody's day. So, if you're watching Child, if you're not West Indian, it's okay. We embrace you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We embrace you.
All
We
here,
really want you
we
to come
embrace you.
visit, just come visit so you could feel West Indian. But if you are from the West Indian region, listen, we're doing a good thing. We're doing a good thing. We're going to take a break. We're going to be right back on another note.
At Horizon Catering, we deliver the highest quality food, innovative presentations, and professional services. We know how important catering is to your event, so we cut no corners to ensure a satisfying and memorable event. We can turn your next event from the ordinary to the extraordinary. For the highest quality food, innovative presentations, and professional services, call Horizon Catering at 284-499-2132 or 499-2142. At Blossoms, our floral experts use their creative flair to design beautiful and exotic bouquets. We are the on-island wedding experts, and for boating enthusiasts, we can help you to add a touch of floral elegance, life, and color to your yacht, mega yacht, or super yacht. You can also find a wide variety of silk and dried flower designs, fresh cut flowers, local flowers, tropical blooms, fruit and gourmet baskets, chocolates, balloons, both helium and air-filled, various gift items, and an assortment of plush animals. With a floral experience spanning over 28 years, we have earned a reputation for excellence both locally and internationally. We've even worked with celebrities. At Blossoms, we continue to deliver smiles and watch our customers bloom.
Welcome back We just had an exciting conversation about melanin in the White House, and
Mhm.
specifically melanin that has a little bit of jerk on it. Uh, we just had a conversation about Kamala Harris, but it's time for our hot topic. So, Bree, over to you.
Okay, our hot topic today is targeted towards marriage. So,
Oh,
Angel, you're gonna be head on this.
mhm.
Two questions. One, what's a good time limit on an engagement before marriage? What's your suggestion along with Dr. Lewis? I'm not even sure if you're married, by the way,
I'm
but
not.
yeah, what do you think is a
No,
good
child, I got my work cut out for me with everybody on the cast, okay?
So go right
Shoot.
ahead. What do you guys think it's a good time limit?
I'd
I
like to
saw
hear
this
Doc
topic,
answer
Sam.
this.
No, man, I saw this topic and I was like, oh boy. Y'all trying to, y'all trying to start some trouble up in this house. Anywho,
Oh,
so
okay,
Okay,
I'll
but you know,
start.
I honestly don't know. So Angel, I'm a defer this to you, boo.
Yeah,
wait.
actually,
Well, I
you
want to hear what you guys think. Bree, what is what are your
I,
thoughts on
I
it,
was
love?
gonna say, well, I used to believe that within the year of an engagement, you should be married. But I've seen persons who get married within 6 months, which I think is within the year, so that's good. But sometimes all 4 years, people are still engaged.
Mhm.
So I don't know if there's like a time limit when you should be married by. That's why it's a
Yeah,
hot
so
I don't
topic.
know.
traditionally, it has always been that you should get married within 1 year of your engagement, right? So that has been the traditional time limit. So you find that people always get engaged and then they tell you even before they have everything finalized, it'll be in a year because that's traditionally how it's been. I have found that engagement has become, oh Lord, y'all don't come for me, okay? I have found that engagement has become a holding pattern. You
Mhm.
you love this person, you don't want to let her go, but you're not really ready to get married. So you
Mhm.
do what you think is going to keep her here, which is
Mhm.
get engaged. And because of that, engagement has now become a thing to do and not necessarily a step to marriage. And I have, my own qualms about it because honestly, if you're going to get engaged, you should be able to be married in 3 months. I'm not
No,
saying that you should, but I'm saying mentally, your mind should have
yeah,
You're
already
ready.
been prepared that
yeah.
if I had to, 3 months from now, I've already engagement means I am
Mhm.
going to marry you. Right
Mhm.
now, engagement means we're gonna be together because I need to sort out some other stuff, and I don't know if I
Yeah.
agree with the narrative.
Well, to be fair, okay, and this is just me playing devil's advocate. In times like this, when every minute something is changing about your world, like I can understand if somebody like has a bit of a delay beyond 1 year, being engaged because with COVID and lockdowns and everything else going on, and sometimes the person might come into financial issues, whatever the case is, I can understand that. But I think you're quite right that when a man proposes, there should be, and I we should kind of hold to that within a year they should be ready or they should know that they're going to make this person their wife. I agree with
No,
you that
not
I
going to. You already said you're going to. You
yeah.
engaged, child. Oh, what?
Well, okay, guys. So we know how that can go two ways, and I was also gonna ask: is it okay that couples should take a break during the marriage? And when I say a break, I mean as in, sometimes they move away or move out for months sometimes. Do you think that's okay in a marriage? I would say that I personally believe yes. Sometimes you need a break. It's okay, but I'm not married, so I would like to hear your opinions. Go
Nope.
ahead.
Nope.
Okay,
If I
somebody
get
said
married,
no
if
already.
if I get married, the only way I coming out of it is as a widow. Mm-mm. Maybe that's why I'm not
She
married.
was like, she didn't even say divorce. She's like,
Uh-uh.
I'm gonna be a widow, okay?
Marriage
I
for
would have done
life.
it, or
It's
you
not
would have
coming
died from
out at
natural
all.
death.
Marriage for
Either
life.
way,
Mm-mm,
somebody not
mm-mm.
making it.
We made that commitment. Mm-mm, my son. No, we
There's
sticking.
two ways. There's always two ways. Angel, what do you think?
I mean, I struggle to answer this because I think that it's important for people to be emotionally and mentally healthy in relationships. And I think that there comes a point in some relationships where people do need to have a break, and a break to get themselves together, because life is a natural thing, and life is evolving, life is ever changing. You come into a marriage as a young person, you don't have any kids, life is carefree, you're enjoying
Mm,
each other's company. You transition into the part of becoming parents, you become parents, you transition into becoming career focused, you transition into raising a family, and then
No.
everything starts to evolve. At some point in time, I find that men and women often say that they lose themselves somewhere in the middle of raising kids
mhm.
and going on to the next step in their life. And I think it's okay to take a mental or emotional health break, but I don't know if I would want to define at this present time what I think that looks like, because I think it's unique for each person. A
Yeah.
wellness break may be a month holiday. A wellness break may be just, the kids need to go away every summer so that I can refocus, or
This sounds
it
familiar,
could be
Angela.
different.
I
It could
like
be
that.
different.
I
It
thought
could be different.
Dr.
And
Lewis,
some
can
of
you
it might
change
be
your mind now?
separation.
so I when you say that, like what came to my mind was obviously the situation with Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith. And
Entanglements.
in a situation,
Entanglement.
yeah, in a situation like that, like I hear what Angela's saying, and I think I more agree with that rather than taking a break from the relationship. I think sometimes it's important to take a break for yourself and kind of try to refocus, because as you said, some people get married young and it's before kids and it's happy times. Me,
Mhm.
I'm old. So if I get married now, like I've kind of been through all of that. And so, I kind of am more settled in who I am as a person now. I'm still not 100%, but getting there. So yeah, so for me now, it would be different for me getting married as opposed to when I was in my 20s, when I hadn't even finished school yet, all these things. But then looking at the difference in a break, as you say, I think it's okay, as Angela rightfully said, to take a break for yourself and try to refocus and try to sort yourself out, because if you can be happier and better as a person within yourself, you're better in the relationship.
Mhm.
However, when you taking a break and you involving other people into the situation, I
That's
think that's wrong.
different. Yeah, that's
That's
different.
clearly an entanglement. Clearly.
Clearly.
Okay.
So after that whole thing came out, I don't know how many of you guys listened to Derek Jackson, but Derek was off on a tangent talking about how what Jada did to August was actually really not fair to him, because this young man was probably really into her, but I guess she was on a break from her marriage or whatever the case is. Or no, they did say that they thought they were done. They did say that they thought they were done. But to me, rather than, like really focusing on sorting herself out, then, there's this other person getting involved. And that's when things can get really sticky. That's
Yeah.
just,
Yeah. I
yeah.
love that. I think this is a great topic to pitch out to our audience. So if you're watching via our Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram platforms, definitely give us your thoughts on what do you think about having a break in marriages, and just how long is too long to get married after you've been engaged. That's a
Agree.
good, how long is too long? With that, I want to switch it over a little bit. So, on that note, let's talk a little
Yeah.
bit about health. So, Doc, tell
Mhm.
us, what do you have for us today as it relates to our health?
Oh, well, we're going to talk about my favorite topic. We're going to talk about obesity today. So, what I realize is that a lot of people, even my colleagues in my profession, actually don't realize how serious an issue obesity is. So, to define
Mhm.
obesity is by definition, once your weight for your height goes above a certain level, when we calculate it and we get something called your BMI, your body mass index, if it is more than 25, then you are actually overweight, and once it's more than 30, you are obese. Now the thing is that we have a lot of people who are out there walking around who have these high BMIs, but it's actually just not taken into serious consideration. I've had many a patient come and tell me, oh, yeah, years ago the doctor told me I should lose weight, but nothing is kind of done about it, because it's not really seen as that much of an issue, because the doctor would focus more on maybe treating their hypertension and diabetes rather than really trying to spend time on dealing with the weight problem. And this is why, I had a genuine interest in it, I guess, because I was having weight issues in my early 30s. So it really developed my interest in this whole field. And when I was studying, even before, but when I was studying, I really realized how serious a problem it is. Because did you guys know that people who are obese are more at risk for things like hypertension, diabetes? I think that was obvious. And Angela, I'm pretty sure we've talked about this in Diabetes Association, so we know about this stuff. But did you also know that there's an increased risk for things like cancer? Did you know that it worsens things like asthma? Did you know it worsens things like lupus, arthritis, like all these different issues that somebody who is carrying a lot of excess weight would have? And one of the reasons for that is because fatty tissue in itself does not have what we call a good vasculature. So let's say that you were to cut open and you were to look at, say, fatty tissue, that it's a little bit yellow. You guys ever seen, like, when you cut chicken, it's a little yellow, but when you cut the flesh, like of the thigh or something like that, it's a little bit more red, because the red tissue has a lot more blood and blood vessels, and the fatty tissue does not. What does that mean in a human person? Anytime the body is not getting a lot of blood or oxygen to that tissue, it's going to be causing a bit of inflammation. And inflammation in this sense doesn't mean infection, guys. It means inflammation, meaning that your body's inflammatory response. So it's responding to damage. It actually thinks that the fatty tissue is more damaged tissue, and your body releases these chemicals from your immune system to sort of deal with that sort of problem. Why I'm bringing this point up is because when it comes to COVID-19, what we're realizing is that people who have that underlying inflammation in the body actually suffer a lot more when they get infected from COVID-19. So COVID-19 is what really kind of, kills people is something called a cytokine storm. And a cytokine storm is like a hyper reaction of your immune system to something. And COVID-19 kind of gives that sort of reaction. And they find that people who have more underlying inflammation actually have more of that kind of reaction. So in the US now, they have definitely identified obesity as one of the risk factors for having serious complications from COVID-19. And even more so sometimes than people who have like sinus allergies or even asthma to a certain extent. That obesity is such a serious problem and it's such a big risk factor when it comes to even this disease. I mean, we knew from before it was something that you had to look out for, like I said, hypertension, diabetes, these other chronic diseases. But now we have to add on top of that, it's a risk factor for COVID-19. So we really need to start really paying more attention and, taking it more seriously. I know a lot of people don't like their scale and they want to throw it out. I do that sometimes too.
Can I ask this question? Because, I just had this conversation with some friends probably 2 weeks ago, and we were looking up a Black BMI, a BMI for African Americans, because I believe that our body makeup is slightly different. And I find that the BMI, like we were looking at someone, we're the same height. Her body is just slightly, not even much. She's probably about 10 pounds heavier than I am. And according to the BMI, she is overweight. But really, you look at her and you go, it's impossible for you to be overweight. I don't know how the chart is really gauged and if it takes into account genetical makeup of a person.
Right. So a lot of
she is big
people.
bone.
Oh, you said it. You actually said it. So a lot of people, right? A lot of my patients, when they come in and I'm trying to talk to them about what weight they're supposed to be, there's so much resistance because in the back of our minds, we're thinking, oh, well, Black people, we're big bone, we carry extra weight. However, when you look at the scientific data, we actually do not carry obesity well. When you get, so we talked about BMI. So when the person BMI goes above 25, they're already overweight. And once a Black person has a higher BMI, they actually suffer more from chronic diseases than, say, the Caucasian. It really can be stratified according to race. And then even among the Asian population and Indian population, they carry weight even worse. So in the International Diabetes Federation, when you're looking at the definition for metabolic disease or metabolic disorder, Black people, oh, sorry, Asian and Indian people of Indian descent actually have a lower weight threshold for suffering than people who are of Caucasian descent. And the studies actually show that for Black people, we suffer more at the once our weight starts to go up as compared to the white population. But it's so cultural in our minds that we need to be bigger, and we have bought into this idea for so long. And I keep saying, I think that this is a leftover from slavery, because back in the days of slavery, you will find that they thought that the stronger, the bigger, stronger, slaves were the more prized of the slaves, because and they used to survive, quote unquote, the journey over from Africa a lot better. A lot of that could have been because of the fatty tissue. They had a lot more deposits of fat for energy. But now in today's world, where we don't have to worry about eating and the next meal coming from and this sort, and we have excess a lot of times, we really need to look at the effects that it actually has on our bodies. So I remember
think this is a great point.
There's one study in particular that was done in England that looked at the population, not just Caucasian, but it was a mixed population. And a lot of those persons who took part in the study were actually of West Indian descent, meaning that, not just Black, but we have a very mixed race. And what they found is that among the Black people, once their BMI started going above 27, they had an exponential increase in the amount of hypertension and diabetes that they had. So we really need to stop buying into this idea about, we can carry it and we're big bone and everybody's in my family was big. Because a lot of times you have to look at, well, what were the habits in your family? What food were you eating? How much activity did you guys do? I know in my family, we didn't always eat that great, but we were very active. We always used to go to the beach. We used to go hiking on occasion, and carrying over those kind of behaviors. Even for me now, I do have big people in my family. And so a lot of people think, oh, Doc, you don't know what it's like. I'm like, no, but I have big people in my family. And I'm the eldest of 5 daughters, from my dad. And I'm the smallest as it is right now because of my habits and the lifestyle that I've been able to build, because I've made it a priority. And it's such a priority for me as well, not only because of what I do, but because I'm trying to be that example. I don't want to be sitting down and telling you what to do, and I have no idea what it feels like, and I have no idea what it really takes to achieve what I'm trying to tell my patients to do.
I think this is an important point, because a lot of times we get confused between the effects of being overweight and what that can do and being overweight. So I think that was a really great topic to have today, because we're now in a world where culturally, everyone thinks that more meat on our bodies is just, especially in all the right places, is a better way of living, and you look better, right. You are more attractive. When the truth is, there's an ideal weight for you, irrespective of where it falls on your body. And what's more important than looking great in your clothes is actually being healthy. Exactly. So I think this topic is absolutely ideal. We're not saying, eat a celery stick. We're saying know where you're supposed to be on that chart and achieve being active, healthy, and keeping a well-balanced lifestyle. Yeah. Guys, I feel like it was so short, but it's time for us to say goodbye. It's so sad. It's so sad. It was an amazing show. I think we had some really good topics today. To our viewers, we really hope that you're enjoying our webisode series. We really want you to stick and stay with us. I do have people who stop me often and tell me that they still stay tuned and they're watching and they really like the conversations that we're having. Feel free to join our conversations. We love viewer involvement. So feel free to join our conversations. Shoot us a message if you have a topic that you would like us to cover. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, shoot us that email, shoot us that message on any one of our social platforms. And we can't wait to see you back right here, same time, same place. On another note, we'll see you next week.